Before I get into this, I just want to give a real quick thank you to everyone who supported me so far. Recently, the channel hit 1,000 subscribers, and it really means a lot to me, and I just wanted to say sincerely thank you to everyone who supported me along the way, and I'm glad you're enjoying the content. So the most recent episode of The Bad Batch, once again, brought up the Hutt Cartel. And while the Hutt Cartel is a very old and well-established aspect of Star Wars, I figured today we'll just kind of take a very brief, scratch-the-surface look at what the Hutt Cartel is and what they're known for. I'm Colin, and this is Sci-Fi Deep Dive. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to head down below and hit that subscribe button. So as many of you probably know, the Hutt Cartel is a criminal syndicate, but they are actually quite a bit more than that. For a lot of galactic history, the Hutt Cartel was basically their own faction. Unlike many other criminal organizations which operated in the shady underbelly of the galaxy, often functioning in places like the Coruscant Underground, which were technically within the legal jurisdictions of a galactic government, but were generally not somewhere the galactic government meddled in too much, the Hutts actually did for a long time control a big chunk of the galaxy. In fact, you can hear it referenced in several points throughout the Star Wars saga, often referred to as Hutt space. This is a chunk of the Outer Rim that's under the control of the Hutt Cartels. Now, the Hutt Cartel is a criminal organization run by the Hutt families. Several powerful families who have made their living in sort of shady deals. For a large portion of galactic history, they controlled a big chunk of the galaxy, whether de jure or de facto, and even all the way up to the latest known dates in Star Wars during the times of the sequel trilogy, it's likely the Hutt Cartel is still active. So in the portions of the galaxy controlled by the Hutt Cartel, galactic law generally doesn't apply. We see a great example of this on Tatooine during the Phantom Menace, where it's said that the Galactic Republic doesn't have control over Tatooine. Instead, the authority on the planet is the Hutt Cartel. Now, while it's not entirely clear whether the Hutt Cartel actually legally has jurisdiction over Tatooine, or whether it's just so far from the core that the galactic government simply doesn't intervene when the Hutts try to take power, the Hutt Cartel still at least de facto controlled this portion of the galaxy. The Hutt Cartel's control of these systems was so tight that when the Clone Wars broke out, several members of the Republic military had to appeal to the Hutts for the ability to use Hutt space. The implication of that being that at least the Republic treated the Hutt territory as almost a separate faction. Now, it's clear that the Empire didn't have that same respect for the Hutts. As we see in countless bits of Star Wars lore, the Empire had deployed ground forces to several planets that were within Hutt space, a great example being Tatooine, which just goes to show that Hutt space's legitimacy really depends on which galactic government is in power. So exactly how is the Hutt Cartel led? Well, the Hutt Cartel is led by the Grand Hutt Council, based on Nal Hutta. From there, several members of the reigning Hutt families will meet regularly to discuss the affairs of the cartel. By the way, Jabba the Hutt is one of the leaders of these families, and would have been present for most of these meetings. Although I kind of get the feeling that most of these weren't actually, in-person meetings, but were basically Zoom calls over hologram. But while Nal Hutta is just the largest population center within Hutt space, we know the Hutts also had firm control over plenty of other systems, places like Tatooine and Teth. Now, there's one little tidbit about the Hutt Cartel that I think is kind of interesting. They are one of the few major crime organizations to not join Maul's Shadow Collective. During the Clone Wars, Darth Maul was able to assemble a large number of criminal syndicates together into one collective force, the Shadow Collective. However, interestingly, the Hutts don't seem to have been a part of that, making the Hutts one of only a few crime syndicates to not join Maul's group. And it's maybe one of the only times in galactic history that a criminal organization was more powerful than the Hutt Cartel. Keep in mind, to achieve that, all of the others had to basically band together. But Maul's Shadow Collective is a very fascinating topic, and I actually did a video on that a while ago, and I'll leave a link up here to my video on that. And I want you to let me know if you have any other questions about the Hutt Cartel. Is there something you don't know about them that you would like me to do a video on or to talk about in the future? Leave that down below in the comments. And I would like to say one more thank you to everyone. 1,000 subscribers is a huge milestone, and I can't thank you guys enough. And of course, last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.